But I've learned my lesson, folks. Boys, girls, MBs, I've learned my lesson. I am now a white identitarian. That's
This is what you wanted. You all got what you wanted. All of the alt-writers. All of you. Look, you created White Hasan. I hope you know that, okay? Every single one of you. Every one of you who pushed this Discord into the strange, you created White Hasan, okay? We now have white identitarian Hasan. Is this what you wanted? Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? I just figured I'd quickly play all of you what happened at the very start of Hasans Return, so we can use that as a jumping point for the discourse.
On such a pathetic, idiotic capitulation to white fragility. Always do, you know, put on a video and walk away for 3.5 hours. Because, you know, that's what all my haters think I do on a daily basis. I was...
Wait.
I turned
She goes
on
to the other room,
Master
Kubi.
Chef, which is the new meta. I don't even know if it's still the new meta. I haven't been on Twitch in the past 7 days. And two of my moderators, Not Your Average African and Fizz, got banned in succession, in a row, out of nowhere. And I ride or die for my fucking community. So, of course, in the most hard-headed way possible, I considered this to be an unacceptable thing.
14 months hassle missed you, King.
And pushed Twitch's buttons because of the very same thing I've talked about 1,000,000 times over. Okay? About the term, trigger warning.
Hello, fellow kiddos.
The term cracker. That's right. Wait, hold on. Does this work? Hold on 1 second. Does that work? The term Did I beep it?
I don't like biting other people's stream gimmicks, but I kind of really want to add a censor button. That seems really fun. It seems a little tricky, you know. I don't really have any equivalent. Like there's the weird like uh-oh. But it's not the same as actually having a censor button.
On my unbanned day, on my unbanned day.
Anyway.
A censor button seems like the first thing I get if I stream.
I was trying to beep it. Yes, the delicious saltine good. The crunchy.
Thank God.
Sometimes cheesy, but oftentimes bland, baked good. Brought to you by Nabisco. In many instances. The moderators were banned for that term for using the word against a white person.
Senpai.
I thought this was unacceptable because
3 o'clock.
I do not believe that any white person, in all sincerity, is genuinely upset, frustrated, angry.
So, hold on. I see questions in chat. He was banned for 7 days, and now it's okay to say the C word. To be completely fair, and this is what everyone has been kind of discussing, I don't know if it's ever been okay or not okay to say the C word. It's completely fine to say, if you're referencing the foodstuffs, cracker, right? Like not saying it as an insult to someone else, but just saying I enjoy soup with crackers. I enjoy, you know, putting cheese on crackers, things like that. But using it as an insult is what became related to and is now known as the C word, and is probably going to be remaining as the C word at this time. And then I guess people playing jokes therein is going to be a matter of Twitch to decide if people are trying to be cheeky and skirt around it in the same way other people try to dance around using insults, as opposed to just using it. Everyone was so like afraid after Hasan got knocked out, and then Vosh got knocked out, and then Fawn. I checked out Fawn's Twitter, by the way, because I wasn't completely clear from talking to Ched yesterday what she had been banned for. But she says that she had just asked a question and used the word, saying, is the C word a banned word? And then typed it out. Didn't say the C word, typed it out. And she says that's what she was banned for. But yeah, so this kind of became, again, like, you know, the wild, wild west of saltines, where none of us really knew where we stand on all this. Now, this is basically the way that Twitch operates for almost all use of police language. We're not entirely sure. They're not 100% clear as to, they won't give you a list, for example, the list of like the naughty words, the severity of the words, or anything like that. Last night, after speaking to Chud, I read the terms of service in its entirety, and I found some shocking things. I'm going to reveal to all of you now some things that were very revelatory to me. I had only read parts of the terms of service in relation to like harm for users, language, stuff like that. But I didn't know how all encompassing, if you go through the entirety of the whole thing, how thorough it is as a legal document. Especially because, and this was one of the most wild things for me to discover, it's prohibited for you to post or state falsified information, which to me was like, isn't that almost every streamer in politics? Because I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm not trying to throw shade at anyone. Okay, like I can look from within on this one. At one point or another, I'm going to say something that's just categorically wrong, okay? It could be something very benign, like the most powerful Pokemon is Mewtwo or something, but then someone's going to be like, no, that's not the most powerful Pokemon. Lance, do you not know? There are many more Pokemon that are more powerful than that. Did you not catch them all? I feel like you didn't catch them all. I feel like you said you caught them all, but you didn't really catch them all, right? Mewtwo, that's it, right? And so if I said that, and that was technically an incorrect statement, that is technically prohibited behavior. So there you go. Poser, yeah, I'm a massive Pokemon poser. I have not played Pokemon since the Game Boy games. All right, that's my foray. I have no idea about the trading cards. I've not played the N64 games. Clearly I did not catch them all. Okay, didn't catch them all. That's all I'm gonna say. Lawrence Southern on ground penetrating radar. Boom. Yeah, I mean, I would think genocide denial would probably be higher on the list of like naughty things. But anyways, yeah, going through it yesterday, and I mean, one thing I do want to state is that I'm a little bit embarrassed that I haven't already read this in its complete entirety as a worker. Because I'm just going to say that as a worker, there's like I think it's important to know what exactly is the relationship I have with the company that I work for, right? Okay, here it is. You agree that you will comply with these terms of service for Twitch's community guidelines and will not create or upload or transmit, distribute, or store any content that is inaccurate. Again, when I saw that, I was like, again, that's every streamer in politics at one point or another. I'm sorry, I don't care who you are. If you're talking for 4 hours a day professionally, you are going to say some things that are wrong. You are going to state some things that are factually incorrect. And ideally, I mean, hopefully, you listen to your chat or chats, you're going to go through them and be like, wait, okay, oh, I was wrong on that? Oh, okay, wait, is it not 54 degrees? Oh, it's 56 degrees. Okay. But that is, I guess, yeah, that is inaccurate. I transmitted any content that wasn't accurate. And by the way, this one encompasses everything. After inflammatory, it's or otherwise objectionable. The or otherwise objectionable, that's everything. I mean, that's anything that basically Twitch deems to be objectionable. I mean, this gives them complete and utter control over whether or not they, and of course it should. That's what a terms of service is supposed to do. It's supposed to. Well, here's the important part about all this. Okay, and by the way, the other thing that I discovered that was absolutely wild is there's an actual section in it called Modern Day Slavery Statement, and it's a reference to Amazon. It's a PDF, which when you read the PDF, talks about Amazon being compared to modern day slavery. It's what's it? Modern slavery is one of the most complex and important human rights challenges of our time. According to the International Labor Organization, the term modern slavery covers a set of legal concepts including forced labor, debt bondage, human trafficking. It is an umbrella term used for situations of exploitation that an individual cannot refuse or leave threats, violence, or coercion, deception, of abuses of power. According to 2017 reports, given time, there's forced labor conditions. Amazon does not tolerate modern slavery. It will take a commitment, resource, and innovative solutions from governments and international organizations, the private sector, and civil society to prevent modern slavery from impacting so many. At Amazon, we understand the unique responsibility of the private sector in these efforts and are committed to expanding our work to understand and address any modern slavery risks that may arise in the course of our business. And then the whole thing goes into pretty deep details about slave labor, international sex trafficking that is used, why the supply chains are not affected by it, assessing the risk of Amazon and all that. But yeah, this was something I was not expecting to find in amongst everything else. And obviously, there's no comment in relation to that. Now, where is the most important part? So, when it comes to harassment, very, very clear. Twitch aims to be a place where everyone can come together in shared community experiences. This vision is threatened when people experience harmful rhetoric and abuse on Twitch. Twitch does not permit behavior that is motivated by hatred, prejudice, and intolerance, including behavior that promotes or encourages discrimination, denigration, harassment, or violence based on the following protected characteristics: race, ethnicity, color, caste, national origin, immigration status, religion, sex, gender identity, sexual orientation, disability, serious medical conditions, and veteran status. We also provide certain protections for age, details on which bullet apply called out below. So they actually mention age quite a few times, which is another one that I think a lot of people forget about. But yes, age and ageism specifically is something that does affect predominantly older individuals. Now, the common theme amongst everything in both this terms of service and almost every terms of service that I've also read the YouTube one before, right, is that the categories that they are trying to protect, they define them as protected peoples or protected categories, protected groups specifically. We define protected groups as a subset of the population with a shared protected characteristic. Every Twitch user falls into multiple of these protected groups. Twitch affords every user global equal protections under this policy, regardless of their particular characteristics, and we don't make exceptions to these standards based on the protected characteristics. Content that is prohibited under our hateful policy include a lot of different things. Now, it goes even more interesting, by the way. They make, I didn't know that it was getting this through, but they make a point of differentiating between certain things. Content that encourages or supports the political or economic dominance of any race, ethnicity, or religious group, including support for white supremacists and nationalist ideologies. But this does not include self-determination movements, which I also thought was very interesting. Mocking victims, denying the existence of documented acts of mass murder and genocide against a protected group. This one may apply to certain people who think that the mass graves in Canada are completely a hoax. Content that makes unfounded claims, assigning blame to a protected group, or otherwise intends to incite fear about a protected group as it relates to health and safety. Now, yesterday, we were talking very specifically about immutable characteristics that human beings are born with, right? Traits, or it could be your sexuality, your gender, your race, whatever that may be, and not mocking people for those immutable characteristics. And I still stand by that. I don't believe you should do so. However, there is something that is specific to each one of these and to protected groups in general. And there is also a very large debate within the legal framework, which I was also looking up yesterday, in relation to how exactly does race and protections of race apply to white people. Can hate crimes be done against white people? Are hate crimes frequently done against white people? If hate crimes are done against a white person, specifically because they are white, will it receive the same punishment under the law for said hate crimes? Each one of these protected groups is specifically because these groups, right, are marginalized in society. So you shouldn't make fun of trans people for being trans, because in that act, if you are making fun of someone for being trans, you are in fact contributing through language to the oppression of that group. That is why it is wrong to do so. This is why we have to choose our language and call out people who are doing that, right? If you are making fun of a black individual for being black, or mocking them for being black, you are contributing to the institutional racism, the societal racism of oppressing that group through language, right? And that is why there are protected groups. This does not apply if you were to make fun of someone for having green eyes. If I was to make fun of someone for having green eyes, it's a mean thing to do. You shouldn't do that. But there's not a problem in greater, broader society right now of people who have green eyes being oppressed generally being oppressed systemically by society. There is no purge of the green-eyed individuals, right? There is no dominance of blue-eyed individuals over green-eyed individuals, while brown-eyed individuals are subservient to both. There is no hierarchy of eye color. That doesn't exist. Now, making fun of someone for their eye color is still making fun of someone for an immutable characteristic, in the same way, right, that making fun of someone for other immutable characteristics, the way they were born, for example, if they were born as a homosexual, if they were born as a heterosexual. But you're starting to understand, as I broaden this, right, that again, mocking someone for their eye color would not constitute mocking them in the same way that, say, mocking someone who's oppressed by society. It is for this reason that white people, and I include myself in this, white people, the insults against them with race are powerless to contribute further towards their oppression. And rather than word this entire thing as this is called privilege, you have to check your privilege, I would think now, knowing this, once we've analyzed this is the reason why certain words of certain gravity to them, gravitas if you will, that being the fantastic gigachads that they are, people of the white skin complexion, again, like myself, will recognize this invincibility, if you will, from racially based oppression through language. That's going to be my new sales pitch, all right? That's going to be the new way. Rather than look at this as this is something that you need to fear, you should be recognizing it as these things have no power over you. That's the best way of me being able to explain that. Should you do that? No, you should not. Calling someone that is the same as calling someone like a motherfucker. It feels bad. It's mean, and it's very surface level, but it does not contribute towards the further racial oppression of that group, as they are not being oppressed systemically by society as the same as the other ones. That's the best way for me to explain this. And again, I think this is the entire purpose behind having this apply to, of course, every single group. It should apply to every single group. If you take this argument further, right, then that means that the category of race could apply to white people, and they need to be protected as a class should they be oppressed. So that we have to watch what we say in this particular instance, because it has now changed the hierarchy of how systemic oppression is working. This is like basically the paranoid delusion that a lot of white people who are like full alt-right fear, right? Like, we're going to be replaced, we're going to be oppressed, we're going to be subjugated. But if that was the case, then yes, the protected characteristics of race would then apply to white people in the same way they apply to other groups that are protected for these very reasons. And that's my interpretation, I suppose, of these. Sexual harassment, by the way, it's very broad. Making unsolicited sexual advances towards another person, making unsolicited objectifying statements related to the sexual body parts or practices of another person, making repeated comments related to another person's perceived attractiveness after the target makes it clear that the behavior is wanted, making unsolicited statements in reference to performing graphic sexual acts on another person, making derogatory statements about another person's perceived sexual practices or sexual morality. Like, this one, holy shit, wasn't like the entire kink and pride debates that were going all around. This one would have been categorically infringed upon multiple times. Alleging that a person is sexually immoral due to their attire or physical appearance, stating that a person's attire reflects negatively on their sexual practices, suggesting that a person's channel is only popular or has not been banned due to sexual favors, repeatedly negatively targeting another person with sexually focused terms such as whore or virgin. These ones are, I think, new-ish within the last year. Twitch ban one of Amazon's Twitch channels after they broke TOS with a breast reveal. Can get link of a permit. No, thank you. I would not like to show a breast reveal on screen. Degrading another person by accusing them of having contracted a sexually transmitted infection. Making claims that another person likely has a sexually transmitted infection due to their sexual practices. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I feel like so many of these are being broken on a daily basis. On an absolute daily basis, Sending unsolicited nude pictures or videos to another person. Well, that one is pretty blatant. Directing others to sexually explicit content. Wishing harm or death on others, glorifying, endorsing, or expressing approval of a person's past or current traumatic events, making implied physical threats, targeting others with repeated or severe personal online attacks, sharing negative, doctored, or artistic content to abuse or degrade another person. Like, does this one count if I've done basically that Elon Musk thing? Like, does this one count for that? Would this one be a part of it? Like, that was me drawing a degrading picture of Elon Musk. Well, I wasn't really degrading. The picture wasn't that. Well, okay, the Charlie Kirk one. That's probably a better example. A better example of this. Do these apply to whispers? These apply. Yeah, these apply to your conduct online in relation to other people. Now, again, the whole terms of service, it's twofold, right? It's A, of course, to present basically the limited liability of the company, in this case, Twitch, owned by Amazon, in relation to their decision making, their ability to, turn off accounts, to suspend people, ban people, whatever that is going to be, and ideally, but it's more of, I think, a corporate practice to keep their community safe. I think even from a corporate standpoint, having a safe community is a better thing than not having a safe one. You don't have to be like, oh, they don't care at all about people. Like, that could be the case, but it's less because they just don't know them, because the people are in the millions. Like, there's literally millions of Twitch users. So yeah, they would prefer, from a corporate standpoint, from a shareholder standpoint especially, to have a safe arena for people who are 13 years, that's the minimum age to be on Twitch, 13 years or older, to play video games and watch video games. That's just from a corporate standpoint, from how much money can we make from advertisers, how much money will investors want to put in, all of that. Obviously, having the safest environment possible is going to be the best environment possible, and in which the environment itself is not directly impacted. All right, let me see this. It's BBC. There's probably no bubbas. Amazon-owned Twitch banned. Yeah, sure. Amazon-owned Twitch bans Amazon account after breast revealed on air. Wow. Amazon-owned live streaming site Twitch has banned Amazon Prime Video channel after a presenter appeared to accidentally reveal her breast during a live show. The official Spanish-language Prime Video channel, there it is, was suspended from Twitch on Sunday with no public reason given. However, it followed a segment on the talk show Esto es un latte, where the incident took place. Twitch has strict rules around partial or full nudity on camera. For those who present as women, when we ask you to cover your nipples, we do not permit exposed underbust. It also does not permit sexually suggestive content, such as the camera focus on breasts, buttocks, or pelvic region. Sorry, everybody. The Esto es un latte hosts were at the end of the weekend stream when one of them, comedian Enar Alvarez, lifted up her shirt partway, revealing jokingly that it was one way to end the hours-long broadcast. Based, we're about to be banned, she said, laughing. Come on, they're going to ban us. That's fucking amazing. Wow, just blatant. See you next month, folks. Oh. The stream then cut to a title card for a moment, but then returned to the live feed split seconds before Mr. Alvarez's breast vanished from view. The stream quickly ended. But within a few hours, the channel was banned from Twitch. Another of the co-hosts, Mr. Jagger, tweeted afterwards that Esto es un latte is the best program in the world. I'm starting to agree with this. Gaming news site Kotaku reported that it's the first time an Amazon-owned brand has been banned from Twitch. It is not clear for how long Prime Video's Espionada suspension will last. Twitch does generally not make the details of disciplinary action public, and bans can vary in length. The live streaming giant has an appeals process for those looking to have the ban lifted or shortened. Twitch, which started as a video game streaming site but has transformed into an all-purpose platform, has had several problems over the years with sexually suggestive content. In the past, women who dressed in a way that some considered suggestive were derisively referred to as booby streamers by the critics. That led to a 2018 revision of the dress code. More recently, the emergence of the hot tub meta, where streamers would broadcast and swimwear from an indoor hot tub, raised similar questions about what is and what is not allowed. Earlier this year, one of the biggest such streamers on Twitch, Amarath, had advertising revenue pulled from her account, even though she argued she had not broken any of the rules. That is pretty wild. Okay, I'll let this play out, then I'll move on to Kellogg's.
Offended by this term. Many of my naysayers that whipped up themselves in a frenzy over the past week, especially over the weekend, certainly were doing touchdown end zone dances.
Oh, yeah.
About how not severe
This is a total sidebar, but I heard about this. I saw David Pakman tweeted about it. There's a fake union busting account. Unions are good for some companies, but I don't want to have to shell hundreds of dollars a month. There's a fake union busting Amazon account that's using David Pakman's picture.
The term cracker was, and how they were just memeing for the most part, and that Twitch is a bunch of fucking idiots for even
I can't type today for some reason. I don't know.
through
I don't know what's going
on such a pathetic, idiotic capitulation to white fragility, oftentimes pushed by
And we alive
some of the, you know, some of the most insanely racist individuals, as you all probably saw on the internet.
No, Hasan has a privilege that I don't have, which is that he's one of the largest streamers, and he is basically an empire into of himself. And that goes where he goes, by the way. So tomorrow, if Hasan wanted to do what so many other streamers have done, which is accept a contract from YouTube for, you know, $100 million or whatever, he could do that and not worry at all about, like, you know, losing a ton of money. Now, that's not to say that I couldn't switch to YouTube, right? I certainly could switch to YouTube, but never being allowed to be back on Twitch again because I was just, you know, testing the waters too much with the C word. That's the biggest reason that a whole bunch of smaller streamers like myself for the last week have been doing the whole, like, C word dance. Because none of us are entirely sure. Like, and my dance was more than anything else for self-referentialism, as in, could I refer to myself as the C word, right? I think it's safe, and I've seen not only Hasan now, but like a whole bunch of other streamers, it's completely safe to refer to the food stuff as the food stuff. So you can, that the word is no longer completely eliminated from the vocabulary. Again, if you enjoy a nice, delicious, good soup, I enjoy good soup, and you like having some crackers with that soup, that's very, very different than calling someone the C word, right? So that's, now we're getting a little bit more. But again, all of our understanding of how to utilize or use language is basically a combination of seeing the results of people get punished, which is what happened last week with 3 streamers getting banned for the same use of a word, and our best understanding of the terms of service that I just showed you. The biggest thing that I was just telling you about, though, when it came to that TOS was like, while going through it, you can see that there is an overwhelming amount of rules that are broken every single day. In fact, I would argue, based on the language of the very first prohibited content statement, that's like the very clear line, posting inaccurate or streaming inaccurate information, that alone means that almost every single political streamer, in my opinion, you know, based on my very limited legal understanding of you know, the terms of service, is that is technically a bannable offense. It's a prohibited conduct for you to do. And like, we all try our best, okay? Myself included. If I'm going to be streaming for y'all, you know, I like that y'all call me out on my shit. I like that y'all keep me, you know, in check. And if I'm just completely veering off the deep end when it comes to my information, you will tell me immediately and slap me accordingly, and I'm fine with that. But it is also just something to keep in mind that the terms of service gives Twitch almost complete and utter control to decide when and when not they are going to ban people. So a bigger compass that myself as a streamer, and I'm sure this applies to other streamers as well, have, and what we use as a barometer, is really what is affecting people. Like what is getting people banned, and for what reason? What's the closest thing that we can determine? What can we ascertain from the bans? Why was person A banned? Why was person B banned? Why was person C banned? Rather than saying like, well, in this clear-cut case, they violated the terms of service. Steven Crowder has been violating the terms of service of YouTube professionally, like for as long as he's had a channel. Okay, the rules against hate speech, the rules against targeted harassment, the rules against you know, mocking people for you know, traits such as being a homosexual or being trans. Steven Crowder makes a career out of that. That's his living. Okay, YouTube does the dance consistently. They'll be like, we'll demonetize him. Maybe we'll give him a 2 days timeout. Oh, we'll give him a 1 day timeout. Okay, we'll do a strike on the channel. We can do that. All right, he's doing blackface again. Okay, well, another timeout. Okay, let's remonetize him. No, demonetize him again. Just back and forth. But it's certainly not like every single example, especially the prominent ones, are just clear cut. Hey, this is a violation of you breaking the terms of service. And now we have that, right?
And other times pushed by maybe people who were whipped up into a frenzy because they themselves were being.
We're back, baby.
That doesn't help the people he's insulting. He's not insulting anyone in the speech. What he's saying is that he is astounded. Like, I don't think Hasan should call people names based on their race. That includes white people. But do I think, and again, I'm like, this is the whole reason we were going through this, and I was trying to explain to you why there is a purpose, why there are protected groups, both by Twitch and in general, right? And why language affects protected groups. Language affects protected groups because it contributes to their oppression. Those groups are being oppressed for those reasons in broader society. For example, if you are neurodivergent for a whole bunch of reasons, there are a lot of obstacles that you will face in modern society, from even sometimes mobility to job applications, to that you cannot be discriminated on the basis. There's a reason why you're not supposed to be discriminated on the basis of a whole bunch of different traits. The same thing applies to more groups as we add more protected groups to that. You should not be discriminated on the basis if you are trans, if you're trying to get a job, but people are. If you look at the statistics, there's an overwhelming amount of biases and systemic oppression that happens to people who are trans, especially within the workforce, both being fired from their jobs when people discover that they are trans, to having trouble applying for jobs because they are trans, to being rejected from jobs because they are trans. So they are being oppressed, and part of people being bigots towards them is furthering that oppression. The use of language in that case can add to the systemic oppression of that protected group. Whereas white people are not oppressed specifically for their race, right? In broader society, generally speaking. In broader society, generally speaking, white people are not systemically oppressed for race. They can be oppressed for other reasons. You can be a gay white person. You can be a trans white person, right? There's a whole reason. You can be a poor white person. You can like, there's a lot of reasons why a white person could be oppressed, but specifically when it comes to race, that doesn't apply to white people. So the same severity in protecting a class from the use of language for being called out because you're white, in my opinion, based on both their terms of service and my understanding of critical race theory, is that it does not apply. That's it. That is the easiest way for me to explain it. Should you call white people things based on the fact that they are white? No, you should not do that. I will never stop saying that, all right? You should that's not a good practice. It's the same, but it has the same power as me calling you like a motherfucker, right? Like, doesn't feel good. I was like, oh, you fucking motherfucker, fuck you. Okay, fine, that feels bad. And you shouldn't do that, right? That's a bad thing to do. But it doesn't have the same way of contributing towards the systemic and institutional oppression of a people. That's the best way I can explain this whole thing. All right? I hope that helps. Don't do it. Be best. All of you, be best. Okay? Melania wasn't wrong on that one. Be best. That's the best thing we can say, okay? All of you, be best. Go forth, be best. Be nice to each other. Be kind to each other. All right? Be kind to systems. Be ruthless to systems. Be kind to people. All very true. But please, at the same time, and this is to make all of us better in society, right? I would like white people who are white, I should say. We'll change that because the white people thing maybe is confusing. People who are white, like myself. I happen to be white. I have an indigenous mother. I'm multiracial. My father was born in Santiago, Chile, but I'm white, as you can clearly see. If I walk out of my house, what is the first thing someone's going to say? Oh, that person is white. Yes, absolutely. So I should understand, as I think all my fellow white people should understand, because whiteness changes over time, all right? There was a time when Italian people were not considered white. There was a time when Irish people were not considered white. Whiteness is an ever-changing category. That's the reason why the idea of whiteness is a little bit different than other groups who are oppressed because the concept of race has been created and it's been used to oppress them, rather than what exactly is or is not a white person at any given time based on certain characteristics and societal standards and history and all that kind of stuff, right? And because of that, we have a unique power, people who are white, in that racial language that is used against us does not contribute and does not oppress us in the same way that it does to other people who may be not visibly white. So that is the reason why. Think of it as an invincibility spell, or whatever you want to call it. You are invincible from racial oppression through language. You are not invincible from being hurt. You are not invincible from being upset. You are not invincible from someone being rude in the way they are talking to you, but you are invincible from the racial oppression that will come from someone using racial language towards you as a fellow person who is white. There you are. Finally said it properly. I think we can move on. This has been going on for a while. All right, final words. Take it away.
Agitated, and were being talked to by those who were interested in pushing for white identity politics.
God, those communists are amazing.
But I've learned my lesson, folks. Boys, girls, MBs, I've learned my lesson. I am now a white identitarian. That's
This is what you wanted. You all got what you wanted. All of the alt-righters. All of you. Look, you created White Hasan. I hope you know that, okay? Every single one of you. Every one of you who pushed this Discord into the strange, you created White Hasan, okay? We now have White Identitarian Hasan. Is this what you wanted? Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
right. White is right, I say. I myself make a pledge to never use the term ever again unless I am referencing a delicious, bland, unseasoned saltine. The snack, I mean. That's right, I've learned.
I gotta say, to everyone in the C-word discourse, shame on you. Shame on you, okay? This is the weirdest time. We're going to, like, 2022 is going to be a fucked up year. I'm going to be honest. It's going to be a fucked up year. Now we're going into 2022 with white identitarian Hasan. I never thought I'd experience white identitarian Hasan. I'm not happy about it. You know, it's like now the white identitarians have one of the largest streamers. That was a big get. Like that's like 22,000. No, he's got like 50,000 people watching him right now. What the hell?
7 days went by when I was banned. I
ready for the ride. Fuck it.
Fucking mind, pretty much. Because as much as we talk about parasocial relationships, I myself, as many of you know, have a reliance on Twitch streaming to create some kind of organization in my life and to give me a sense of purpose.
7 days, 15 hours and 23 minutes.
So not having the
Ninetails, two things. One, amazing to see you. Everyone, please go to Ninetails Cosmic Fox's channel. Check her out. She does really good content. But also, you cannot, even in Twitch chat now, use that word. Yes, I know. This is the world we live in. Use that word for anything other than referencing a food product. That's the only, apparently the only, as far as our understanding is at this time, the only way you can do that is to reference it as a food product. So that is the only reason why I deleted the words, so they are no longer in the chat. But yes, that's the new reality that we live in. That's just our, yeah. Doesn't matter. No, it can only be used as referencing to food stuff. If you are going to reference it as a slur, you have to say the C word. That's also the new thing. Yeah, you have to do that. Hold on, I'll remod you.
Community that I've cultivated to rely on a daily basis.
3 minutes late, Pogo.
Made me go a little fucking crazy. It made me go bananas. I mean, I'm serious. I was able to still, you know, stream. I did the Ludwig stream.
Let's so.
I did the H3 Leftovers podcast that we did live. You know, I'm sure some of you guys saw that. But
anyways, that is where the discourse is now. I have put it out there. I think that was probably a very quick. I'll clip it and I'll put it up somewhere. A quick 1 minute way of trying to explain this whole thing, while at the same time trying to be as civil and empowering, okay, to people who are white. Difference from white people. All right, because that'll be the new distinction. I'll draw a line in the sand, okay? Because there's certainly a difference. There's not really any such thing as the white race as a grouping. It changes, and the reason I say that is because it changes consistently. Again, you could be white and be Italian, or you could be not white and be Italian. That it's just it's an ever evolving category. used to subjugate. Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form, available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Just, we beseech thee to smite down our enemies. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your humble court jesters, here to amuse you. To our lords, Trevor R., we give thanks for this spit of land for us to eke out this meager existence. To our knights, Merid, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Ellie Leslie, Alex P., Brandon, Words Greenwood, Nate, that one guy, Hagbird Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Daniel Sutton, Coulter Smith, Val 9000, Jenna Tall, Quiet 185, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, The Tim Caucus, Multimondi, Trevor Yanis, Lemmy 101, Anthropophojack, Saren 42, Catherine, Radical Maniac, Ramon Acosta, Nkosin, Violent Orchard, Sophie Baby, Political Puppy, Andreas Chiringuito, Zach Christensen, Josh Mickelson, Todd Buckingham, and Todd Lajeunesse. We raise our flag in a veil, and we salute you, our friends.